It is also that time of the year when we talk transfers, and make sure to head on over to our website for live transfer talk and stay up to date with everything that's going on this summer in terms of movements. And we're going to focus specifically today on those who have contracts up at the end of the summer in 2025. And this means that we'll be talking about a man whose name has already come up tonight, and that is, of course, Ivan Toney, who wants away from Brentford, but things are looking a little bit difficult for him at the moment because obviously they would like him to renew. He knows what he wants. There's a few names that are being mentioned. One of them obviously is Arsenal. How good is he, in your opinion?
Remember, he had a lot of time off. And when he first came back, he played really well for the first 4 or 5 games. And I know what it's like to... I was injured and came back. And for the first 4 or 5 games, the adrenaline might get you through. And then you get tired, and then you have a little wane in performances. And that's what happened with Ivan Toney last season. When he first came back, he looked the good player, the very good player he was. He was dynamic with balls played into his chest and his body. He'd win balls in the air. He'd link up the play. He was dangerous when balls came into the box. That's what he's got to get back to. I think if he went to somewhere like Arsenal, where they do dominate possession, they got crosses into the box, he would be a real threat and a very good player. I still think he can be a big asset for a big club. So get him now if you're Arsenal, rather than waiting another year? I would get him now if I was Arsenal. Do you agree with that, Frank? Make sure you get this player now before he's free at the end of 2025.
Yeah, I should try, yeah, because strikers and good strikers are pretty rare nowadays, and we saw that during the Euro, that even Kane wasn't that good, and maybe only Fulkrug coming on the sometimes, you know, for Germany has proven that he's a good striker. But otherwise, you are looking for the nice pearl, and even Ivan Toney, he had a kind of a roller coaster last season, but yeah, the talent is there, the stamina is there, and it would be a good option for Arsenal, which need a striker, for sure.
Let's talk about Conor Gallagher's future right now. There's been so much talk about what's going to happen next with him. He's another player who falls into this bracket. I'll ask you the same question here. How good is he? Is it time to move on? Is it time for Chelsea to cash in on a player like him? I would say he's been undervalued at Chelsea. You know, he's been put out on loan. When he has come back, I think he's played well. And he's had to change his position because of the other 2 midfield players they spent a lot of money on. So sometimes he played further forward, sometimes he played deeper. It didn't work out for him when he played for England in the European Championship. I'm not surprised that Atletico wants him, sorry, because he's a hard worker. He's somebody who's gonna be ready to die on the field, to give everything for the club that he plays, and we have to thank him for what he did for Chelsea. I agree with Robo that I think he was underrated and underestimated when he played for Chelsea, and what he did last season was a very good season for him, knowing what he has around him. It would be nice for Chelsea to keep him because he's getting a little bit of experience, and it's what Chelsea is lacking right now. But if he wants to go, fair enough. He served the club well. Where are you on it, Shaka?
I sympathise with the position that Conor Gallagher has found himself in, and I don't think it's through any of his own doing. I mean, first of all, Chelsea are kind of weird as a football club, given with the new ownership. And the way the game has gone has compounded that issue. And Rob was right to talk about Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, the 2 big money signings. But Conor Gallagher has been far more consistent, far more productive than both of them. Yet, and again, because of how Chelsea have done their business and because of the financial demands of today's football, Conor Gallagher coming through the academy, all of a sudden he is an asset. They need that to balance the books. So from a pure footballing stance, it makes no sense for Conor Gallagher to leave, given who's around him and given how good he's been in comparison. But because you have to add finances to that, it's almost as though they don't have an option. And now Conor Gallagher I want to say a victim because I'm freely assuming that he wants to stay at Chelsea, but he's a victim of again, kind of odd leadership and just the direction that football has gone in general.
Another player that I need to bring up over at Juventus is Federico Chiesa. And Federico Chiesa, are we ever going to see the 2021 edition of this player again?
Was that his normal standard in 2021? when he was outstanding. He went past people with the ball, scored great goals, pace, trickery, you name it. He looked a top-class player. But over the course of his career, whenever I've watched him, he's inconsistent. He can be frustrating, he can do strange things. And I think that was him at his very peak, and it was probably not his normal standard. His normal standard is what we see now, which is inconsistency. Great one day, produces a moment of brilliance, then be frustrating for other periods. And it looks as though Motta isn't overly impressed with him. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with him.
So do you think with maybe a different club then, in a different surroundings, he could get back to a version like this of himself?
If he's mentally right, and when I say mentally right, I mean if he concentrates and focuses on doing the right thing at the right time. You know, I see too many antics with him at times, too much throwing himself on the ground. He's a good player that I think can do a lot better if he goes to it somewhere else. And
now we bring up a goalkeeper, and I need to come to you on Andre Lunin, Shaka, because this is an interesting situation here with the links with Chelsea. We've seen reports that Maresca's saying that Robert Sanchez would be his number one. Obviously, you've got Petrovic there as well. So what happens with a player like Lunin? Is he an upgrade on what they already have?
I think he's certainly an upgrade on Sanchez. I haven't been overly impressed with Robert Sanchez since his arrival at Stamford Bridge. I think Petrovic has equipped himself far better. And as we sit right now, I'd have Petrovic, given his performances, over Sanchez. Lunin is a little bit of an unknown quantity in that regard because, well, you're coming in behind Real Madrid's back four. You're not playing consistently, but certainly this season you had a consistent run. But how does that look when you're the out-and-out number one? Just in terms of your mentality and your approach, even when you have this longer run in the team as he did last season, you know you're number two and you know you're on borrowed time. How does that translate when you're the out-and-out number one? Kepa is a known quality in Spanish football, but certainly nothing he did at Chelsea, and in my opinion, coming back to Madrid, suggested that he was better than Kepa. So that was an odd decision on Ancelotti that eventually he got right.
There was also a bit of a problem in the European Championships for Lunin. He made two big mistakes against Romania.
So is he a number one keeper for a big team, or is he a number two keeper for a big team?
He's only played 110 games, I think, around about 110 games in his career in the first team. I think he can be, but he's got to get off to a good start. Wherever he goes, he's got to get off to a good start. And I'm not sure too many of the big clubs are going to be looking at him.
But you asked a question about big team. What other goalkeepers are out there? And well, yes, Chelsea spend a lot of money. You look at Chelsea's finishes over the last couple of seasons. Frank may want to disagree, but I don't think Chelsea are shopping in the same boutiques as Real Madrid and Manchester City.
Yeah, you're good at talking about shopping in boutiques, Frank.
Oh, well, you know what? I just want to remind the guys that Emiliano Martinez was the number 2 at Arsenal. Yeah, you know, so it's possible being a number 2 to become a very, very good goalkeeper. Well, you know, and it's what I wish to Lunin, because last year, yeah, he made mistakes in the European Championship, but the season that he showed to Real Madrid, having the big pressure, because when you are behind Courtois and even Kepa comes and the coach decides to put you on, you know, and what he showed, and we saw some highlights, the guys can do it. And I want to trust that it's possible, you know, being a number 2, come to Chelsea and being the saver like he did for Real Madrid. So I love giving a chance to the product.
But the timing of those mistakes was bad timing for those mistakes, because the European Championships was a great advert for goalkeepers, any player to play well. And anybody that was looking at him making 2 mistakes in that game against Romania, quite bad mistakes as well, they'd have had doubts after that.
All right, well, we'll keep our eye on that one. We do want to talk about another La Liga player in Artem Dovbyk, and we're talking about him being Morata's replacement at Atleti right now. Is he an upgrade on Alvaro Morata?
He doesn't play at his very best often enough, Morata, so Dovbyk's maybe a slight upgrade.
You had a little chuckle, Frank, when I asked if he was an upgrade on Alvaro Morata.
Well, because I don't know where to, or how high I have to rank Morata throughout his career. I saw him playing for all the biggest club in the world almost, you know, and I'm never been convinced. So I want to have respect toward the guy who just won the Euro and being the captain of Spain. But I'm sorry, I'm not there to be, absolutely thrilled by what I saw throughout his career. So I really think that that new big player can do better than Morata, wherever Morata has been, so and Atletico as well. I'm not convinced again about Morata. I'm very surprised that he keeps on having that level that people want to give him, and now he signed for Milan. Good luck to him, but I'm surprised. I have to say I'm surprised.
Is there a striker in world, arguably any player in world football, who's more up and down than Alvaro Morata? When Rob was kind of alluding to, when Alvaro Morata is at his best, he's top 10 striker in the world, no question. When he's at his worst, bottom 10 striker in the world. And there's just no middle ground. There's, at no point, Alvaro Morata is just average.
I saw the best centre-forward display, one of the best centre-forward displays I've ever seen, when he was playing for Juventus against Bayern Munich, in Munich, when Pep Guardiola was the manager, and the ball kept on coming up to him against centre-halves that wanted to clatter into him. On the halfway line, he was getting turned, he was running, getting shots away. It was absolutely brilliant. I saw him the next week, and he was passing the ball 30 yards backward to the opposition. So, yeah, you're absolutely right.
There's no middle ground. He's never just OK. He's never OK. He's either fantastic or just god-awful.
Who are you picking then, Alvaro Morata or Erling Haaland?
Oh, still pick Haaland. Still pick Haaland, yeah.
Fair enough.